Okay, so how do you make a big macro molecule, atoms bound together by covalent bonds? Well, those molecules consist of smaller parts that are strung up together. So a part might be this. I'm not specifying what it is right now, I'm just showing it as a bead, and it'll have an H on one side and an OH on the other. And we're going to bind that to the next part, which will be very similar. So when you put these together, that is known as dehydration, synthesis, sometimes also called condensation. And so the dehydration part means that you're going to be taking away an H2O, and the synthesis part means that you're going to be forming a new bond. So when I take away an H2O, I'm dehydrating, or I'm condensing, and so now I'm going to put these two together and I will have made this particular bond. So we're starting to make a macromolecule. Now, what are these parts? Well, it depends on the macromolecule. So let's list the possible parts here. So you can string together amino acids this way. Then in that case, the bond that you're forming is known as a peptide bond. The covalent bond is a peptide bond. And the type of molecule that you are making is now called a protein. If you string together nucleotides, building blocks, then you are making a phosphodiester bond, and you've made yourself a nucleic acid, meaning an RNA or a DNA molecule. If you string together monosaccharides, then you are making glycosidic bonds, and you've made yourself a sugar. Think of carbohydrates or carbs. These molecules tend to be poly-many-mer parts, so they start with a linear sequence of parts. You can also make things like fats, which are very large, in which case you would be gluing together a glycerol molecule with 3 fatty acids. So that would go over here under the types of parts that you're putting together. In that case, this is known as the bonds are known as diester bonds. And again, you've made a lipid or some sort of an oily substance. To break these back up again, you would have to go backwards. And so that means you have to add the water back. And in this case, you will have to split the water back up into an OH for this part and an H for that part. So when you go this way, that is known as, when you're breaking, that is known as hydrolysis. Lysis means to split. What are you splitting? You have to split a molecule of water for every bond in the macromolecule that you break. And again, making is known as dehydration synthesis, because you take away a water and you are synthesizing a new bond.